I'm really honored. I've seen a lot of change in this organization since we've been involved, a lot of good change. So really some great people involved here, and I just appreciate the relationships that we've developed. But things change, always and always. And one of the things that I have always said, and Jared is in the audience, he'll attest to this, if you're not moving ahead, you're falling behind. It's a very simple statement, but if you will keep that in mind, it'll drive you to do wondrous things. If you're not moving ahead, you're falling behind. So organizational change and you really hold the key to managing and implementing change that is inevitable today, tomorrow, and in the future. I actually read a quote several years ago when I was out on more of the speaker circuit. And that quote said, "Everything that can be invented has been invented already." And this quote was from the U.S. patent attorney in 1898. Can you imagine the acceleration of change and the things in our lives that have changed since you were born and where it's going to be in the future? So it's exciting times for sure. But one way we keep a balance in our lives is when the capability is equivalent to the challenge that's out there. So we have status quo, we have balance, we're in our comfort zone when that's happening. But when change occurs, that means one of these are out of balance. So what happens when your capability is greater than your challenge? Well, you kind of get disengaged in your business. You get bored a little bit. And I've said numerous times throughout my career, which is maybe why I've been in so many different positions, I feel like I'm a V8 engine strapped to a bicycle frame. I had the energy, I had the willingness, but the process wasn't there, the system wasn't there for me to really make change happen and really do things. Okay, what happens when the challenge is greater than the capability? You feel a little overwhelmed, you feel stressed. It's all those things that happen in your life that, oh my God, I can't handle it. And this happens a great deal. I would say most people fall in this bucket when they always feel like things are happening more than they can handle. One of my thoughts as I move through my career is just eat that elephant one bite at a time. But anyway, that's when change happens, when our equilibrium is disrupted. So here are some dynamics of change. So when you know you're going through change, you're feeling these things. You're feeling awkward. You sometimes give up. You feel limited in what you're doing. Anybody feel this out there? Oh, yeah. That's when you know you're going through some change that's happening in your life. And remember, change is always happening. All right? So those are some of the dynamics. So here are some of the emotions that you go through when you are feeling in change. So you go from your comfort level to all of a sudden a change is made, and you feel, oh, wait a minute, we don't have processes in place to do this. I feel like I can't move forward. Maybe we really shouldn't be doing this. Maybe we should just go back to the way things were. You get a little angry about it. Then you start to negotiate a little bit. And then you feel a little depressed because, okay, you can't change things that are happening. And then you begin to accept it a little more, you begin to explore, and pretty soon you get to acceptance. All right. This was actually written by Elizabeth Ross some time ago, so I'm sure Judy knows. In fact, a lot of the things you said are going to overlap here in what I'm presenting. I thought this ties together nicely, and the same with Anne as I get into resilience. So here we are. We feel that we're a little more in control of our lives when our expectations match what we perceive is actually happening. So back to how do I stabilize? How do I maintain control? It's when your expectations are meeting what you think is happening. So developing personal resilience will help you maintain a little more control in your lives. And these are some attributes of someone that's highly resilient. So as Judy has said, as Hannah said, a lot of these tie together as being a proactive person. It's being a positive person. And don't we all like hanging around positive people more than the negative naysayers? Oh my goodness, it makes life so much easier. when someone's organized, especially flexible, when they're really willing to listen to others' ideas and to make change happen, and focused. These are some attributes you need to memorize for you to be a highly resilient person. And resilience means, at a basic definition, absorbing high levels of disruptive change while displaying minimal dysfunctional behavior. That's being resilient.
Is that what that is?
That's what that is. That's being resilient. All right, so if you're a highly resilient person, then you have some of these attributes. You can regain equilibrium faster. You have better health. Dan, don't you agree, man? If you've got good health, both mentally and physically, you're able to make decisions and move forward, achieve your objectives, and most importantly, you rebound faster and stronger than you were before if you are a highly resilient person. So there are some myths that we need to get out on the table so that you have to move through to be able to move through this cycle of change. And some of these myths from an employee's perspective would be, gosh, they're not telling us everything that's going on. They don't really care about us. Oh, my job is in jeopardy. How many of you have felt that? My job is in jeopardy. Okay, a few. All right. I can't make a difference. Whatever I say, I'm not contributing, so I kind of give up. So from an employee's perspective, these are some things you might be feeling. From a business owner's perspective, I want to point these out because if you're trying to make change and you're trying to progress your organization, these might be some of the feelings that your employees are having. From a business owner, keep that in mind. This is what they're thinking out there, whether they're going to tell you that or not. This is what they're thinking. And you, the employee, keep in mind that maybe the business owner or maybe the leadership team isn't telling you everything because they don't know everything. They're telling you what they know. But you've got a perception out there, you've got a myth that they're not being forthright with everything with us. Anyway, for you to really move through change and agree it and embrace it and move on, you've got to understand these myths and you've got to work through those. Okay, let's look at kind of the holistic perspective of what's happening from the current state of where your business is now or where your job is now. There are certain things that are affected when you get to the future state. And it's always going to be around processes. And we've heard about maintaining symmetry and process. We've heard about people, and I've told you a little bit about how their reactions and some of their myths are. Technology is also weaved in there, and all of that is surrounded by the culture of your organization. These things all drive future business. And right in the middle of that, where all those circles intersect, that's change management. That is change management. So in order to get to the future state, you've got to understand all these things are going to be impacted. And once you get to the future state, guess what? It becomes the current state. Then you're going to do it all over again. If you're not moving ahead, you're falling behind. All right. So some of the consequences of change can be very positive. And looking at those circles, you're going to see that a lot of workflows can be modified, jobs can change and improve, new culture evolves in your organization, performance measures are identified. So people, process, and technology are some of the positive consequences of change if you want to move your business to future state. This is what you can receive. So, in a nutshell, we will maintain more control in our lives if we become highly resilient people. And that will help you. As an example, Ann this morning got up, said, Bill, you get to the meeting first so that, scoop that driveway so I can get there. That's maintaining some control and status quo, I think. It worked perfectly. Oh, so my final comment is, if you're not moving ahead, you're falling behind in everything you do. So be resilient and move ahead in your life. And I appreciate you listening to my little talk. So, any questions?
I'm going to go around with the mic on these.
Yeah, Dale?
Again, more comment than question. There are two things that have helped me deal with change. Two quotes, actually. One was from Winston Churchill, who said, history will be kind to me because I intend to write it.
That's good.
And
Yeah,
the
that's
second
taking
one,
ownership.
Yeah, and the second was, change is fun if you're the one who initiates it. So,
Yeah, and you're not on the receiving end. But hey, if you're a highly resilient person, it can be fun. Other questions?
So, Jim, it seems to me that what you talked about is okay to sustain until you really get knocked down and you're on your back and now what do I do? I know that throughout your career you've had many opportunities where you've had to rise to the occasion either because of a supervisor that you had that was, perhaps not talented, you had to work past all of that. What's your secret to continue to bounce back and not let these things get to you?
Wow, there's so many. It boils down to, in my mind, a belief and staying the course. Ann said that, I think, stay the course. That is something in my career that I've used at American Airlines and John Deere when things were chaotic. I've even used it, I think Jared's heard me say it. We're going to stay the course. So be consistent and don't waver from the direction you're heading. So you set that vision out there and you stay consistent and move through that. I remember when Jared and I and Steve started our business in '09, it was at the depths of probably, bad economy. We didn't know any different. We weren't going to let that affect us. We knew we could, grow our business and be successful. And so that was just our mindset. And we were going to stay the course. And so we still feel that way. We're ready to get to that next level. So set that vision out there and stay the course. And don't waver.
What happens when you're trying to stay the course and you're going the wrong way?
Well, do you know you are? That's the question. Do you know you're going the wrong way? I don't have a good answer for that one, but if you're headed down the tubes, all right, well, then you need to regroup and figure that one out, and then stay the new course. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, manage by data and fact. That's a good statement, too. Yeah, metrics.
I see a number of businesses that started in '09 and are very successful. That turmoil, how much do you think that made them focus and put these systems in place at that time in lieu of starting when times are great?
I think that's a great point because when your back's against the wall, you're going to do what it takes to make things happen. I know Jared and I have talked about this numerous times, that we seem to perform best when we step out and we accept a little risk and put our backs against the wall. That's when we really perform. And so that energizes us. We take ownership in that and we go after it. So I think a lot of it depends on, how much of a risk are you willing to take and just get at it, get the job done. Just focus and stay moving forward. All right, I know I'm out of time, and thank you so much for your patience and listening to me. Yeah, thank you.